and welcome back to Tabletop Thoughts. Today I am going to create a map for Shadowdark using the Overland hex map rules in the core rulebook. I'm going to make a small map. Each hex I am planning on making 6 miles. So I am going to start here with a hex in the center, and then I will work out 3 hexes in each direction. That way, that should be a big enough starting map. I'm planning on using this for maybe a one-shot that I am going to run later this year. If you've been watching my website, you'll know that I have been working on a campaign type setting for a kingdom that I'm making up. This will take place in a different location. I'm working on that for a longer campaign if I can get it put together. This is gonna be like a one-shot, maybe 3 sessions long maximum. I just make a little town here in the middle, and then we're going to use the rules to build it out and create a map that they can, sandbox in for a few sessions. Something that I'm going to do a little differently than most people I see on the internet making maps like this. Most of the time they roll, the type of terrain for the hex, then they go ahead and roll and see if there's something in the hex. If there's something in the hex, they roll out all that. That's a lot of flipping back and forth. So what I generally like to do, drop a hex in the middle if I know what I want it to be. If not, randomly generate it. Work out all the hexes. Just go around and just plow through them. Get all the hexes set up. And then once that's done, you can go back and generate, hey, is there a place of interest in here? If so, roll all that out like afterward, but do it in steps. Like do all the base terrain. Then go through and roll. Okay, let's find out if there's any locations. Just drop a marker. Don't even have to roll what it is. Drop a marker, keep going. That way you can kind of look at one table and just roll everything. Look at another table, roll for everything you need for that table. It seems to go a lot quicker, and then, stopping and rolling it up. It seems like some of those guys takes a couple hours to make a small map that's only like, 36 miles or something like that across. So I know that I want to start with a grassland hex. So you can see I am using the program called Tiled, and these are the 8-bit tile set that I purchased. These kind of make it look, kind of like an old video game like Zelda or something like that. So I kind of like this. So we are just going to stop dead center. There we go. Now using the rules, excuse me, for the Overland maps, we roll 2d6 and consult the tables. So that is a 5. New hex is same as current. So grassland up there. Come down here to the next side. That is a 2. Current terrain plus 1 step. Grassland goes to forest. So forest. 7. Same as the current one. An 8. Same as the current one. 9 plus 2, so 4 jumps down to ocean for that one. So let's see what I have for ocean in these tile sets. I believe there's an ocean, and I don't know if you noticed, I guess I should explain this. When I build maps using this program, I like to lay it out on different levels. So like I will go through base terrain. All the base terrain will be at 1 level. Then if I need to build rivers, then roads, then floor, this would be if I need to drop some forest or something on top of a base terrain. Then locations would be any kind of items that show up on the map, towers, other villages, something like that. Threat level will be on here as well. I could drop little markers on here. There's little icons, so I could drop in. I could mark down like, hey, this is a level 1, this is a level 2, this is a level 3, all on that. And then this object layer would be titles. This is where I could name the cities and stuff like that. So we'll go back down here to our base. That was an ocean. That is a 6. That's the same. So it's ocean. So it looks like our village is going to be right on the sea, or at least a big lake. let's keep going around. Okay, that's a 9. 9 is +2 ocean. That goes to desert or Arctic. Since I got forced, let's do Arctic snow. So apparently we're going to be up north somewhere. So we'll put a snow there. 7, same. 11, 2 steps. So Arctic goes back to grasslands. As you can see, this goes way faster than, oh, sorry about that, than rolling up everything individually. 6, the same. That's a 10, that's 2. Grasslands +2 is a river or coast. So what I do is I'll just drop a river on this tile, knowing that I can come back and put in a different ground underneath it and build the river up on top. That way I can attach rivers wherever I need them. Where's rivers? There you are. So we'll just stick a random river right here. That's a 7, that's the same, so there's a river there. That's a 7, that's the same, so we're over here. That's a 12. Roll a new hex terrain. So we roll an 8, that is a forest. Alright, that's an 11 +2. That jumps back down to ocean. Okay. As you can see why I like this. We're just going right through this pretty quick. Next up, 6. Same. 7, that one's the same. 6 is the same. That's a 9 +2. Ocean +2, 1, 2 is Arctic. See, we're going back to the snow. Kind of nice how it catches up to itself. Snow, so that would be here. So let's see what's next. The 5, the same. That would be snow. 10 is +2. 1, 2, back to grasslands. So that would be here. Okay. That's a 9, that's +2. That goes to a river. Eight is same, so that's a river. 12, roll a new one. 7, forest. Okay. 7, forest. 6, forest. 10 is +2. That takes us back to ocean. Okay. Five is same. That's ocean here. 5 is the same as ocean. 7, ocean. 4 is ocean. This could be like a peninsula here. Ocean. 6 is ocean. 7 is ocean. Oops, we're in the wrong hole. There we go. 9 is +2. So that is Arctic or snow. Six is the same, snow. And I think that is our hexes. All right, so you can see how easy that was. Okay. So now for here, we will come back and see that there's a river here, river. So what we can do is go up to rivers and there we go. Get the river there. We know the river's going to come down through there. Might as well make it go through here, through there. It's gonna curve here. And then curve out to the... That's not bad looking. Now what we'll do is we'll come back and just put grasslands. Whoops. Undo all that. Go back down to base and put grasslands. All right. And there we go. Not too bad. Okay, so for location, icons. Oh. Places, that's it. We know we're going to have a starting little village right there. So let's find a little village. Bam. We'll give that a name later. So in a matter of what, like 10 minutes, we've created our little map for our one-shot campaign. I mean, it'll be a short, like little 3 sessions, but this will be our little sandbox. And we've got beginnings. We already know there's some forest around. There's a river runs through here. If we wanted to kind of combine those back, what we can do is go up to flora. And I believe one of these flora. There we go. So we can take some trees because we know it's a forest and just drop those down on top of here. Like that, and then now it looks like the river comes down through this, passes through our forest and out to the ocean. Our little village is here. It'll probably be, you know, fishing village or something like that. If we have any other villages that we get to drop down, we can add roads between them. But for right now, you know, worst case is to say that how the characters get here, they came sailing in on a boat. All right. Now that we have that part done, we can move on to seeing if there is any points of interest in any of these locations. Okay, and then for the locations, we don't even need to worry about what they are right now. We're just going to roll each up, and if we hit something of interest, we'll just drop an icon on it. And then we can always come back and roll on the tables and write it all down for what is actually there. Since they're all numbered, if hopefully we don't go over 10 items. I mean, there's only but a few hexes here, so we should be lucky enough we don't go over 10, but we will just drop an icon, a numbered icon down, and go from there. And once that we're done, then we can go to the points of interest table on page 133 and actually roll up what they are. Something I like to do, one of the points of interest on the table, 3 and 4 are natural landmarks. To get a natural landmark, I actually pull out, let me grab it here, the D30 Sandbox Companion. In here, there is a table. It is on page, one second here. Okay. Page 16. So on page 16, there are natural features and phenomenon by terrain type. And it has hills, mountains, forests, plains, swamp, desert, and coast. So if we happen to roll something, we can come over here. It's a D30. Luckily for me, I have the weird dice you get for DCC, so I actually have a D30. And I can roll it on there, depending on what the base terrain is, and come up with everything to use for that. If we happen to roll up I believe some of them are like a monster's nest or something like that, I also have the mother of all encounter tables. It's another giant book of random encounters and stuff like that. We could use that to roll up our monster encounter and just drop their little nest right there. I might also go back and use that book to generate some of the tables, the random encounter tables that I will have for this little sandbox campaign. Probably sticks together. Maybe, I don't know if you've ever seen, I've done some on my website, D666 tables, the Devil's tables. I believe I saw the idea for them on Dungeon Masterpiece. So it's just tables. You put 3 columns on it. It's the encounter, there is what's going on, and then a complication. You write them across. So you could write down like hunters, gathering, and say sickness. So if you would read across, it would look like there's a pack of hunters that are out gathering food, but the complication would be maybe there's a sickness they have. But when you go to roll on the table, you roll 3d6 and you pick whatever the numbers come down for the first column, second column, third column. So you could have, it generates a bunch of other ideas and something that we can look at putting together. All right, so let's just go through and roll, see if there's any locations. So just need a d6. If it comes up with 1, there's something special there. All right, so let's start with a 1 on locations. Okay, so this hex, 1. Yep, there's something right there. This hex, we'll go to 2. It's a no. That is 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 a no. 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 That is a yes. There's 2. Nope, change it to 3. Yes, there's 3. Go to 4. No. 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 Yes. 4. No. No. We've already done that one, so we'll jump up. No. 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 Yes. No. 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 Nope. 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 Yes. No. Nope. This, I believe, is the last one, and that is a yes. So there will be 7 different locations on this map for us to explore. So now, go back to the book. Points of interest. And let's get a piece of paper. All right. So number 1. 2d20. 20 and a 2. 20 is a holy shrine. And 2 is over connected to a large tomb. All right. So we come back to our places. That looks like a large shrine. Bam, we'll just drop that down there. And we'll know we have a large shrine north of this little village. And there is a large tomb underneath. While we're here, we'll go down the roads. Because that seems like a place that people would actually go to. So let's take a little road. There's something a little bit smaller. Okay, let's see. There you kind of see the roads going in between. That looks a little bit better. And then find one that's more on the top. There we go. Little road between our two locations. Okay, so come over to number 2 now. Number 2 is 14 and 5. 14 is a monster nest. And 5 tells us it is home to an oracle. So, a monster nest that's an oracle. That sounds like maybe hags. So, we'll make a little note that it's either hags, maybe like a sphinx, although there is not really a deserty area. But that's okay. So out in the forest along the river, there is something that's a monster nest. Let's see if there's a place that looks kind of like a monster nest. Guess we can stick that there, and then what we'll do is we'll take rivers, move it up above locations, and we'll move flora up too. But we want location to be higher. No, we don't. Okay. Alright, we'll leave it like that for now. But we know here next to the river there is a monster location. So we'll just make sure we make a note of that. So east of village by river. And we can think about what we want that to be or roll it up. But especially being nest home to an oracle, that sounds like maybe we should have hags or something over there where they could go, and maybe she'll point them at a different location on the map. Okay, so location number 3. Let's see what that is. An 8 and a 9. 8 is a village. 9 guarded by its current residents. So 3 will be another village that is guarded by its residents. So sounds like that is another village. So let's take, we'll put a little keep on it since it seems like it's guarded. Okay, let's see if we can find a better monster cave. Base. Yes, that's what we're stuck with. So let's move the river back up. I see what I did. Okay, so there we go. We'll stick that there. I don't know. There we go. That's our little monster cave, I guess. Okay, so here's another little village. So what we'll do is we'll come back here and add in a road to that one as well. Let's see what we got for roads. There we go. So now we have a village here. That's our starting base. There's a road through the woods and it leads to another village that is guarded by its residents. So maybe that will be a local keep. That sounds like something that would be guarded by its residents. Maybe that will be the seat of power for the area. Another place for them to go to get adventures. All right. Number 4. Let's see what number 4 is. A 2 and a 3. 2 is a fortified keep, and 3 tells us it's being attacked by vaders. So out here in the water. Okay. Places. There we are. Being attacked by invaders. Okay. So a water keep attacked by invaders. All right. So maybe that's something like Croatoa or Bullywogs or some kind of fish people. They have a little kingdom right there being attacked by invaders. It could be something from this ice going down, like maybe some kind of, like barbarian type humans that are attacking them down there, or it could be, I don't know, crab people or something like that are trying to move in. I guess we'll find out what number 6 is. That might help build some story. These fish people could be friends, they could be foes. We don't know at this point. It's all part of building. All right, number 5. All right, that is a natural landmark for 4, and 2 is connected to a tomb again. All right, so we'll see about the tomb part, but let's see what our natural okay, natural features. And I guess we'll say that's close enough to being the coast since it's right off the coast. And that is a 15, a marine meadow. So we'll just leave that icon number 5 there. And we'll put marine meadow. And now we decide if we want to roll over or we want to stick with another large tomb. Yeah, let's re-roll. See if we get something else. Another 20, we get a 19, hiding great treasure. So maybe there's some kind of expensive coral or something that's down here, but of course you have to be able to get underwater to get to it. So we will just come back to icons and we will put a little treasure chest there. Just noting that there was treasure down there. I don't know if maybe it was from a shipwreck, something sank coming into the coast, or if it's just a coral fields that are kind of expensive. It's a nice coral, or maybe it's some kind of, who knows what the treasure could be. It could be, just oysters. You can find pearls down there. Oh, sorry about that. But let's mark down, so maybe sunken treasure, pearls. All right. Let's go over to number 6. 17 and a 5. The 17 is a cave formation. So underwater cave. And 5 tells me it's, we already did a home to oracle. I don't need another oracle on here. 19 we already did as well. Let's go with a 4. Attacked by invaders, we already had that one. 7. Abandoned in ruins. Okay. So let's find a place. Find something that looks like a cave. Alright. Maybe that has something to do with the fish people, or maybe, I don't know, it's abandoned in ruins, so that's not people attacking by invaders unless, there's an idea. Maybe, since it's abandoned in ruins, maybe whoever used to live down in that cave, I don't know, they were digging, something happened that they collapsed their caves and their civilization was forced out, and they needed somewhere to go, and hey, right next door is a nice kingdom of fish people, so maybe they decided, hey, we're just gonna, kind of move in, take their stuff. Okay, so we'll just put maybe here, people lost home, invade fish kingdom. Okay, see, just coming together pretty well. And number 7, I get a 10, that is a town, and a 16, which is controlled by a malevolent sorcerer. So let's put a small town up here. Yeah, we'll come back here and add some roads. All right. Oh, I only have the one, so I need a something that goes both directions, huh? There we go. There we go. So now we have a village. Number 7 will be an icy village controlled by sorcerer. Alright. And we'll give him a road down to the temple. So that way, at some point, if they want to go investigate, they can go up there. And that is it for that part. So within, roughly a little over 30 minutes, we have created an entire map. We dropped down all of the special locations. Came up with some ideas of what we need. Let's put some... Not what I wanted to do. Control Z. Let's go back over here to base. We'll put down a grassland here with the trees. That way you can see the road a little better. So, you know, you're going through a forest, but it's not that big of a forest. Yeah, there are some trees. So you can kind of get the idea. Hey, there's trees here, but it's not the deep forest. There's a road through there. There's a river above. Okay, nice. Okay. Now we just need to see the danger level for everything. So let's go up here. Okay. So if it's a blank, that would be safe. 1 will be unsafe. 2 will be risky. 3 will be deadly. So let's just roll them out. And the nice thing about this, if we let's do first one, 3, that tells us that that is unsafe. So that would be a 1. You just put a 1 here. Yes, it's on top of the locations, but we could turn that off. So we could just pop it up when they come into the area, drop it back off so we can see the map. So it would really just be like, hey, what kind of area is that going into? Okay, it's a 1. So let's go around and turn that on so we can see, and we'll just roll for every location. So this forest over here is a 4. That is risky. That is a 2. Must be stuff in the forest. That is a 2. That is a 1. That is a 4. That is risky. That is a 2. That would be a 2. So that is a 1. That one, that is a safe. So we'll put that. That area is pretty safe. Go up to this. 3, that is unsafe. That is a 1. 3, that is a unsafe. That is a 1 as well. 4, that is a 2. 1, that is safe over here. 2, that is here. The town, I do not put them in towns. I consider towns safe places. So if you can get through here, that looks like that's going to be a safe route. That so far looks like it's a safe route in between towns. I mean, there might be something here and there, but you're relatively good. Okay, 3. 3 is unsafe. That's a 1. 3 is a 1. 4 is a 2. So far, nothing is deadly right here. 5. That is a 2. 4 is a 1. Wait, 4 is a 2. 4 is a 2. Excuse me. The 5th kingdom is a 6. Of course it is. That is deadly. You don't got to. 3. unsafe. Up there we skip. 2, that was a 1. 1, that is a safe zone. 4 is a 2. 3 is a 1. 1 is a safe spot. 2 is a 1. 1 is a safe spot. 5 is a 2. That is a 2. 1 is a safe spot. 6 is deadly. Must be something living down there. 4 is a 2. There we go. That is our threat level. So apparently the forest isn't too bad. You might have some encounters, but nothing serious out here. Looks like down here is some danger around here. This is probably right here is probably all the fighting between the fish and whatever else is over here. Little safe up here. Apparently they don't come over here. Maybe they don't like being around people or something. But there we go. Within under 45 minutes, we have created a map that we can use for a quick sandbox for Shadowdark. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, check out the next video right here. It's packed with more great content. And as always, keep on gaming.